so much for tuning in. I'm Gigi, and today we are going to talk about manifesting that relationship. And this must be a question that I receive 10 times a week. How do I find that relationship? And by relationship, I don't just mean love relationship. I mean friendships, any connection with a person that is for our highest good and for our development. So how do you manifest a relationship? Or even, you can even use everything that I'm going to talk about here as how to make your relationship better. Our relationships are always being reborn as we are, which means even if you're in a relationship that isn't feeling how you want it to feel or isn't going where you want it to go, you can definitely bring a lot of consciousness to yourself within that relationship to the point where you can shift it. And so this applies to you. You can use this technique to do that. And also, obviously, you can use it if you're not in a relationship and you want to bring that relationship forward. And if there was one thing that you could take away from this, or honestly, if you could just take away from any metaphysical principle or anything to do with manifestation, it would be that everything that you experience is another version of yourself. And I don't mean this in the lofty, hard to understand principle that we are all one, although that can apply on a grander scale and be lovely. I mean that everything that you manifest in your physical world is a representation of what's going on in your inner world. Everything that you manifest in your external world, every relationship you bring in, every experience that you have, even every physical item that you acquire is a representation of what is going on in your inner world. Our material experience is our inner world incarnate. That's it. So once you know that, and we can accept that, because our egos and our minds will try to tell us every single justification, judgment, validation, anything to get us to not understand that one key. It'll try to create separation between you and every person that you meet, or you and your life purpose, you and your dream job. Compartmentalize, and as long as there's separation and we don't realize that everything is actually a manifestation of us, there will be pain and there will be a feeling of emptiness. So it can be an immense act of responsibility to really understand that everything is you, but it'll be the most empowering pain of responsibility that you have. And I don't mean that this is going to happen overnight. I mean it is something that we need to bring to every moment as much as possible and consistently expand with the rhythm of our heart. And I promise you that if you can bring that principle, that everything is a representation of what's going on inside, you will grow tenfold. You will grow so quickly and you will be unstoppable. So, manifesting that relationship. So using what we just talked about, how do we bring forward that relationship? Well, sometimes when I'm working with clients, I actually talk about layering emotions as a way to manifest. And emotions are actually magnetic. Our emotions are magnets within manifestation. So we have to really make sure that we're feeling the right way. And by the right way, you want to make sure that you're feeling in a way that acknowledges your divine. You want to make sure that you're feeling your own power. Because if you're not feeling that, then you're going to be more a victim of circumstances, a victim of others, a victim more than you are in control. So you have to feel your own divinity and your own power. And one way to really make sure that you're doing that is to be the first layer that you feel within your heart. And this is an emotion, this is a feeling. It's a visceral experience. Make sure that you're feeling love. Make sure that you're feeling peace. These are very broad emotions for some people, or feelings. For some people, that is a feeling of warmth, of safety, of openness. Layer these emotions richly in your heart, in your being. Feel them. Let that become your foundation. And once you're there, you can start to create and manifest more specific things. If throughout your day you cannot become present and aware enough to constantly make sure that you are layering in that base emotion of peace that you're not feeling, if you can't feel peace throughout the day, that is what you work on then. First and foremost, you'll work on feeling the emotion of love within you and peace within you. And I don't mean when it's easy. I don't mean when you're on vacation, you're sitting in the sunshine, you're having a margarita. I don't mean when it's easy. I mean when it's hard. When you do this, when you bring peace into your heart, into your physical body, into your muscles, into your liver, into your lungs, into your eyes, behind your eyes, into your mind, when you do that, you break through boundaries, internal boundaries that will manifest in the material world as making progress. If you can feel love and you can feel peace in the face of reactivity, of anger, when you are burning with anger, if you can bring that and temper that with peace, you will create so much change. I'm giving myself goosebumps. You will create so much change that your head will spin. Because it's when we break through those inner barriers that we actually create the external momentum and the external changes. And we actually get to access all of those experiences that are waiting in the queue of our experience, that are blocked by the very places that we block within ourselves. Internal blocks manifest as internal blocks. Remove the blocks. Let the queue come to you. First and foremost, make sure that you can bring peace and tranquility and love into your heart. That is recognizing your divine. When you do that, you are inadvertently acknowledging your divine self. That is the action. That is what the action is doing. If you were to look at it from an advanced perspective, feeling that is worshiping and allowing your divine self to come forward. And that is your powerful self. So you got to do that even in the face of difficult emotions. That is the warrior. That is the change creator. Okay, so once you have that, then, and not all the time, you have to do it all the time, but you have to do it most of the time. You have to do it enough so that you're making progress. So after that, you're really going to get into specifics a little bit more. So you got the first layer, you got the foundation down. Now let's talk about how to bring forward that relationship through a more magical, specific tone. So a lot of the times when you think about manifesting a relationship, the first thing that a coach or someone will tell you is that you have to write down a list of the qualities that you want in that person. The qualities that you want, or even probably more precise, how you want to feel around that person. And this is going to be based on your childhood, your parents' relationship, what you liked about that and what you didn't like about that. That's our first mirror. It's also going to be based on past relationships, past friendships. And you're going to come up with a comprehensive list of what you would like to be brought in the relationship. And so now that we have that list, we have some fuel to play with. We have some things to play with. We can get more specific and we can start interacting with the universe in a more conscious way. We can definitely take a passive role by just staying in love and peace, and we will be able to see and tell how things change around us. We'll be able to know ourselves through that. But this is a more specific way where you're able to take it one step more into grounding, where you can actually start to become more conscious of your manifestations and almost interact in a playful way instead of having things come to you. So this is a more active way of manifesting. So you write down the list of qualities that you want in your partner, things that you want. And once you have that list, you make a habit of one at a time, or you can do more than one at a time, but you make a habit of breaking down how you can give yourself that exact quality that you desire. Because whatever quality you've written down in your list is a quality that you need to give yourself. What we desire in our relationships is what we are actually desiring ourselves to give to us. It is energy that we are actually desiring that we give ourselves. It is. So, say that the energy that you really desire to get from a partner, and maybe this is because in the past you've manifested partners who don't accept you for who you are. Maybe, especially if you're watching this video, maybe they think you're like a giant weirdo and that you're just crazy and you're spiritual. Maybe you want a partner to accept you. How you can take that one step further and use that quality that you desire to directly manifest that individual is to make sure, hell or high water, that you go into a self-acceptance mode. Any thought that you think, you don't judge it. You apply soft acceptance to it. You almost play with it. Maybe you ask it questions. Maybe you converse with the part of you that maybe created that feeling long ago. Maybe it's your inner child. Maybe it is in a past life. But begin to accept everything that happens to you, everything that you think. Don't judge yourself. Make judging yourself something that you're very aware of. And bring that self-acceptance to yourself. Go forward and honor whatever you feel like is not accepted in yourself. Maybe it's your belief system. Go forward and start writing your belief systems. Go and honor yourself by hanging around people, maybe finding groups that are like you. Bring that self-acceptance in. Perhaps what you're really working on is a feeling of independence. Maybe you want to feel independent. Maybe in the past your relationships were like a little codependent and you really want to feel like you're your own person coming together with somebody as powerful creators. If that's the case, make sure that you do things by yourself. Make sure that you maybe go for dinner by yourself, go to the movies by yourself, hang out by yourself, get real comfortable with being alone. Make sure that in conversations you assert your opinion, your true opinion. Don't be afraid to have your independent thought acknowledged. Really focus on you doing things for yourself and honoring your uniqueness. And the more that you do that, the more that will become a priority, and so easily you can see how in a relationship you would just continue that. So you have to become independent, essentially. So maybe you're looking for support. Maybe you're looking for somebody to support you because maybe you're the person that supports everybody else and you need a little support sometimes. Maybe you're the giver and everybody else in your relationship has been the taker and you feel like you get put on the sidelines and you're tired of it. You want someone to give you that support that you've given to them. Sound familiar? Maybe? Well, give yourself that support and don't feel bad about it. Any idea or any feeling that comes into your mind, a creative idea or a feeling, meet that feeling with, wow, how can I expand on this? That's support. If you are exhausted and you're tired, but you have an obligation, cancel that obligation and support your core self. Support yourself choose yourself when you've been used to choosing others. Go into extreme self-care where you make sure that you have amazing hygiene and that you are, dressing properly. Go in self-care mode. Make sure that you're listening to all of your emotional feedback, that you have a good emotional hygiene where you're listening to all of your emotions that come forward, you're using them. Go into self-care, go into nurturing mode, go into support mode. And as your life purpose starts to whisper to you what you're meant to be here for, support yourself in that. Take steps to do what you're meant to do. Support yourself in your own life purpose. Support yourself. If you do these things, you will find that an individuals, if you're more looking for friends, will come into your life and they will bounce off that space. They will reflect that new space, that new energy that's created inside of you. So go through that list and write down everything that you want in that partner, and take the time to make sure that you are first and foremost giving that to yourself, specifically acting upon it. Not the broad scope of, if I just love myself, someone will come to me. I'm talking specifically. That is true, but that is not as active of an option. I'm talking specifically figuring out what you want in a partner and then making sure you're giving that to yourself actively, consciously. And if this is too active for you and you don't really want to put all that effort into yourself, then you might be looking forward to the exact same relationship happening again and again and again. You gotta do it from the beginning. You have got to be everything for yourself before that person can be all that to you. And I also wanted to get a little bit into twin flames. I get asked a lot about twin flames, and I haven't commented on it because I don't actually really resonate with a lot of the material out there about twin flames. And the reason being is because in my practice, in my experience, I have seen that a lot of people use the concept of twin flames to completely take attention off of their own lives and their own issues, and they actually get into very unhealthy spiritual, mental, and emotional states, obsessive states, thinking that an individual is their twin flame. And oh my gosh, there is literally a lizard on my cord right now, my computer cord. He's so cute. I don't know if I can. Oh my god, he comes. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Maybe this lizard is my twin flame. I don't want to catch him, I don't want to scare him, but there's like a little lizard on my computer right now. So I don't fully resonate with twin flames because of the unhealthy interpretation of twin flame material. And for anybody who's asking me about twin flames, or whether or not someone is their twin flame, or what to do about their twin flame, do the technique that I just mentioned. Do you. Relationships are such that the more that you worry about yourself and that you take care of yourself and that you do you, the easier your relationships become, and you will find that relationships turn into something better as you better yourself. Relationships are effortless. The more that you're in your center, that you're in your core, that you're genuinely being who you are, the more relationships will actually transform around you. They may transform into something that stays in your life. They may transform into something where they leave your life. But when you start putting pressure, and I'm just being real here, when you start putting that kind of spiritual pressure on the relationship in your life, saying, this is my twin flame, and we're supposed to be together no matter what, that is a pressure cooker. And that probably shouldn't be a focus. Do twin flames exist? Can you manifest that experience? Yes. Does everybody have a twin flame? I don't think everybody actually necessarily has chosen the experience of having a twin flame. Not everybody chooses relationship as a spiritual avenue of self-growth. There are many different ways that we can choose to focus on in our lives. So not everybody on this planet will connect with their twin flame or even the idea. But all I know is that please, 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 please just focus on yourself and your relationship with yourself, and know that everything else will come. I have seen so many weird things happen because people try to justify relationships that are not healthy, that are abusive, because they feel that it's their twin flame. So do you. Do you. And if you can do yourself properly enough and passionately enough and honestly enough, everything will come. The person will come, twin flame, soulmate, whatever label. The job will come, the friendships will come, the health will come. You will come to see yourself and to know yourself. And that will be the biggest exhilaration of all, is to honestly, honestly live your life, offer it to the world, and have it reflected back to you in larger and larger ways. So thank you. I'm using a yoga block while we do this. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it. I love all your comments and all your support. Thank you so much. So much love to you, and have a great day.